Because when you kill your babies and when you abandon your babies and when you suck them out of you and you say it's not a baby, that it's just a piece of blood clot, and we all blood clots now, walking, talking, thinking, and having a conversation. It's just a damn blood clot. Why come and when a woman in Africa is shot and raped and her vagina's cut out of her, the little girl in Africa is raped at 11 years old and has to suffer in the forest and have a baby by herself, and it rips open her bladder and it rips open her vagina and it tears her up? How come that ain't got nothing to do with me? You might not want to feel that shit. You might not know what it is, but you know something's off. You wake up one day and you feel an incredible sadness, and ain't nothing sad in your world, but you're sad. And you feel a depression, and you feel a pain, or you feel dizzy, you feel off balance. Don't think that's because you're not feeling me and somebody else. Don't believe the hype. You really need to get to know who you are and how you are spiritually and divinely and electromagnetically connected to every woman's womb of color moving through this earth. It's even some so-called white women that y'all think is white that is not goddamn white. They look white on the outside, but their genes say they got some of us pulsating in them genes. We are even connected to them. And when they have pain and there are any violations against them, this is something that you are not supposed to sit there and say, I'm going to deal with this by myself. I'm going to take some drugs. I can't talk to nobody. Ain't nobody going to understand. This ain't nobody's business. I can do what I want to. This is still a violation against the universal principles in the universal womb. Because all of our uteruses are connected to the core of Mother Earth. And we're all made of energy first. And there are certain metaphysical principles that are connected to you that you should not break, even if you don't consciously know them. But see, we have been taught to go against ourselves, to sabotage ourselves. But we have been taught that's self-preservation, to separate from your clan, to separate from your tribe because it's not safe and because it don't make no money, and to do for yourself. But the same way you have taken all these principles outside, from the inside of you, and you living from the outside in, and you are not listening to yourself. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care how many degrees you have. You are still out of balance. And you're not in tune with yourself. And it's a lot of these women that I tell y'all that I'm talking to that have the money and degrees, but they fucked up mentally and emotionally, and they still dealing with unresolved conflict around abortions, and they still dealing with unresolved conflict around the pain that their mama will not accept them no matter what they do, where they live, or how much money that they make. So if y'all got some questions or comments about that, you can call in with them. Meanwhile, I done talked enough, Alan. I know you said I get on my roll, so go on. You can jump in and talk about what you want to talk
about. You know I can't follow that up. Shit. Lord have mercy, boy. You was preaching.
Oh, tell me what you think. I don't know if you know about those experiences and if you can relate to them, but
well, definitely not on that deep a level. And me being a man, of course, I don't. The only relationship I know is the mother-son relationship. But I know it's funny. The last time I had a in-depth conversation with a woman about mother-daughter issues it was in your neck of the woods. There was a young lady who we were interested in each other. She was living in Atlanta, and I came down to see her, and I noticed that every time I brought up her mother, her whole body language would change.
What did you see? Now, I'm glad you said body language. We got to do another show on that. What did you see in her body, and where did you see it in the body? Would
get agitated, tense, everything. And first couple times I ignored it. Then finally, the third time I was like, okay, you're going to have to open up to me and tell me. I can sense that something's going wrong every time, I bring up your mom. And, yeah, she went on to tell me that her mom just verbally abused her when she was young. Told her she was going to be nothing but a slut. Told her she wasn't going to amount to anything. And I was like, wow, because I'll be honest, coming from my almost Cosby-like family I couldn't relate to that. I was like, what? Your own mother was talking to you like this?
Mm.
And she said, yeah. But now she's very successful, you know. And now here's the irony. Now that she has a successful career, you know, lives in a fabulous house, now the same mother who used to basically abuse her and diminish her self-esteem is trying to mooch off of her.
Mhm.
And that's what she was dealing with at the time that I was visiting, is that she had already hooked her mom up, which I felt she didn't deserve, but she had her mom in an apartment, you know, was paying most of her mom's bills, and her mom was ungrateful for that. She wanted to go shopping at, you know, these fancy restaurants, shopping stores, and, you know, basically she wanted to live a life of a wealthy person. And
so she wanted to use her daughter, though, to do the one that wasn't shit, that was going to be a slut.
Exactly. There you go. Exactly. Matter of fact, I wish she would be bold enough to talk about what you, so y'all can talk about on the show, because that would be a good story to explore. But yeah, it was interesting just hearing about it from her. Is that mother dogged her out from the time she was young to the time she was like in high school or college. But then once she became successful, the mom was right there just trying to just mooch off of her. And where it hurt her in regards to me was, and I think this probably what started the conversation, was that while I was visiting her, I was like, you know, I want to meet some of your family members, because she had told me she had a couple of family members, and she didn't want to introduce me to her mom. And I was like, dang. Yeah, she didn't want, because number one, she didn't want to be around her, so quite naturally she didn't want to introduce her to me if she don't even like being around her herself. So anyway, that's the one thing I can think of in listening to you, and I'm sure there's just some other women that I've known that have had contentious relationships with their mom that they didn't necessarily choose to open up with me about it. But I'm a good reader. I can read people's, you know, body language and whatnot, and I know, observe things in the interactions, and I know I've had female friends and acquaintances who had their different challenges. But yeah, I mean, this is actually something, I think you're going into courageous territory, because I don't hear too many shows talk about dysfunctional mother-daughter relationships. They'll talk about, you know, the father and daughter, you know, usually something to do with like sexual abuse or something.
Oh, I'm getting there too, and I'm getting to the mom and son, and I got to go all the way around the corner. You know, I'm gonna come 360 with it.
Now I gotta ask you though, you speaking of abuse, now you're telling me there are some mothers who physically and even sexually abuse their daughters?
Yes, Alan, there is. There are mothers that beat the hell out of their daughters. They attack those daughters. I had dealt with that in part one yesterday, and women could verify it. But a lot of us don't talk about it, and it's a very shameful thing. And a lot of black women don't talk about it. Now, it's in every race of woman. We get it. And I realize, like I said, my Arab sisters, my Indian sisters, I did not realize that they getting it worse than us, because we started finding out about it. You know how what the Pakistani and the Indians start moving over here. You know they'll straight up kill their daughter if their daughter fucking a black man.
What?
They will kill her dead. And they will kill her if she go outside of who they done pick. If they arrange a marriage, they stone those women. To me, those women are some of the most prettiest women in the world, and they beat those Indian women. Those, I think they do it to those Iranian women too. Earlier this year, it was two sisters. They had moved here. I think they were from Iran or Pakistan, and they were going to school, having fun. They had started meeting boys that were outside of their culture, hanging out with them and learning the culture. They were very intelligent. One had got a scholarship to go to a major university, and the daddy, I think they said that they think he was molesting one or both of the girls. He didn't want her to go off to school. He didn't want to have any friends. And when they ran away, the mother was scared of him. He would whoop the mama ass, too, so she wouldn't defend the daughters. They ran away. He convinced them to come back maybe a few days later. He went in the kitchen when the mama was at work and told her two daughters, let's take a ride. Let's have dinner. I'm so sorry. I'm so glad you're back home. He drove a taxi. He pulled them upside the street and shot both of them.
Damn.
Point blank.